We've been talking about that rally that took place for Zohran Mamdani that was at Terminal 5 on Saturday in New York City. The rally was for volunteers. Let's just take a look at the photo first. There were a lot of people there. I mean, 3,000 people. In any other context, 3,000 doesn't sound like a huge, huge crowd. But
that's a full crowd for Terminal 5, which is one of the better venues to watch a band I've seen in New York City.
And check this out, though. This is for a Democratic primary. Now, if Andrew Cuomo... Oh, I ran into somebody handing out a Cuomo leaflet the other day.
Oh, yeah, I saw some.
Yes.
Yeah.
On Thursday, I think it was, in between my doctor's appointments. And I said, what do you like about Cuomo? And he said, I got paid to do this.
This is the ladder I started climbing.
He didn't know. He's like, I don't really know much. I'm paid.
What's that pay like?
I didn't ask him, but I imagine it's
you get
not.
Paid and go canvas for Zohran.
Yeah. I don't know that they've had to spend money on canvassers. That's the point.
Right.
Is that I don't think that Andrew Cuomo could fill a coffee shop with volunteers. Now, he's got millions of dollars. He's got name recognition. And that's what this race is really ultimately coming down to.
And a lot of people fear him.
And a lot of people are nervous about him and are afraid to come out and endorse anybody else. Even the Times, had this, just backed into endorsing sort of Brad Lander, but not really. Fascinating. I mean, it's one thing for the New York Times to hedge on their national endorsement, but how 3 days after early voting starts, does the New York Times, and I emphasize New York because it's their city where someone's running for mayor. I mean, this is like the most basic function of a newspaper in terms of endorsement. Like, you might as well just not endorse anymore.
They should have endorsed both Zohran and Cuomo. That would have been the most awesome.
I mean, honestly, it's an embarrassment to that paper. It's an embarrassment. Nevertheless, here is AOC speaking at Mamdani's rally, and it's really relevant. Play this and then we'll talk about it.
For so long, we have had political leadership, including in the Democratic Party, that has just wanted to play it safe, that has just wanted to be neutral, where so many people are motivated by their own individual political careers. And I cannot tell you how shocked I have been to see so many of the individuals who called on Andrew Cuomo to resign in disgrace after so many details of harassment against women, and for those same people who called on him to resign to stand behind him and endorse him for mayor of New York City. Survivor of sexual assault, I will never unsee that ever again. We have to have a politics of integrity, not a politics of cowardice anymore. We have to stand up for what is right in this country. And when I say that this is not just about New York City, but that this is about the United States, I mean that literally. Because Andrew Cuomo has made clear that if he wins this race, he wants to run for president of the United States of America. And in a world and a nation generation that is crying to end the gerontocracy of our leadership, that wants a new day, that wants to see a new generation ascend. It is unconscionable to send Andrew Cuomo to Gracie Mansion once again. New York City, we need a new day. We deserve a chance. We deserve a New York City that centers working people. I know so many of us walk down our blocks, and for so many of us who have grown up and around this city, we cannot even recognize the neighborhoods that we grew up in. We can't even afford to live in the places that we were born anymore. We can't even find a job that will pay us enough to just continue living as we are. This is about our future, and for so many of us, it feels existential because it is.
I mean, what I find fascinating about this is that it is blending in a bunch of sort of like messages that are at play in the Democratic Party. I mean, nothing she said there was particularly ideological at all. Maybe centering workers. But nothing in that.
Dems used to do that.
Well, Dems used to do that. I mean, but I'm just talking about, I'm not even saying,
Right.
Strong ideology or, I'm just saying ideologically at all, what she's talking about is not ideological at all in that moment. And the downside of that is that sometimes you can get younger people in. You can get fighters in. It's just that they're not necessarily fighting for what you want in the Democratic Party. However, statistically speaking, if you're going to get 10 young people coming in to Congress or to the Senate or wherever it is, or to your city council, they're going to be to the left of where 10 people, 10 70-year-olds are, or 65-year-olds. I mean, it's just the politics of that generation are to the left of where they were from the generations that have preceded them. And, we're seeing this across the country. David Hogg was out there. He was looking for, and this is a value neutral assessment. He was out there. He wasn't talking ideological stuff. He was talking about partisanship and fighting. And that can be really good. That can be not necessarily as good if I don't like the ideology of those. But more often than not, if that's going to be your filter, it ends up being a proxy for more progressive politics. That's just the reality of it. You can find examples where that doesn't happen, and weirdly, whatever happened to Whitmer, who was a very aggressive fighter and then just sort of decided to I don't know, she's decided I want to leave politics or what? I don't know what she thought she was doing. She got completely, I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but I think that moment was where people were starting to plan how am I going to set a trajectory to run for 2028? And I think hers got completely haywire. She just completely misread it.
It was the dunk tank clown approach.
It was just, she just made a huge mistake. She thought, oh, this is my lane. And then started heading down there and realized oh my God, there's no highway here. So the highway got washed away. The bridge has been washed out. Oh shit. But she was typical of someone who, from an ideological perspective, she was too far, she was more conservative Democrat than I would have liked, but she was aggressive in fighting. And understood that, at the end of the day, Democrats have to be distinct from Republicans. and have to be oppositional, where people like Chuck Schumer are not. And I would say even Hakeem Jeffries, who sort of had head fakes towards that, are not. Their whole strategy is
Respond at a time and place of our choosing, and continuously also.
yes. And I need more information to find out exactly why Senator Padilla was tackled and then arrested, because I need more information. But if I get that information and enough time goes by, then look, cooler heads will prevail and we won't do anything. But boy, we should really destroy the Iran deal. I don't think Donald Trump is really going to. I can't believe he's going to sign a deal. I mean, Chuck Schumer is so lost. And so this idea that we need a new Democratic leadership, it expands the tent for someone like Mamdani, because some people out there, if the lead was we need a Democratic socialist, or we need a socialist, or what, they may get nervous. But we need a new voice. We need new leadership. We need people to be strong. You're widening it a little bit. That's my take on that. I mean, and here, put up number, there's a letter. The heads of both AFSCME and the AFT, the teachers union, number 18, have resigned from the DNC. Yeah, if you could. Chairman Martin, I'm writing regarding your recent offer to nominate / reappoint me as an at-large member to the Democratic National Committee. I've been honored to serve as an at-large member of the DNC since 2002 and on the Rules Bylaw Committee since 2009. I have been honored to serve on the Platform Committee as a delegate to the Democratic Convention to go back to 1992. I believe the Democratic Party has a vital role in America, and the party in modern times has fought relentlessly and repeatedly for all Americans to have justice, freedom, and opportunity. AFT's 1.8 million members are education, healthcare, public service workers who devote their lives to protecting kids and communities while paving pathways for a better life for all. Sadly, this mission is under attack. It is an existential battle I hope the Democratic Party will support. At the same time, given the work ahead of us, I must decline the appointment. While I'm proud to be a Democrat, I appear to be out of step with the leadership you're forging, and I do not want to be the one, and this is the line. This is the kicker, right? I'm going to be completely respectful. I'm not even going to bring up what it is, except for I do not want to be the one who keeps questioning why we are not enlarging our tent and actively trying to engage more and more of our communities. As always, the AFT. Now, we got to parse that out a little bit. But I don't think it's because my sense is, and I've had some, I've interviewed Randy Weingarten. I don't think she's been the most bold union leader. Her leadership got out in front of her in terms of, I should say her membership got out in front of her in terms of like strikes and that sentiment, but she acknowledged it, shortly afterwards. And I think broadly, her politics are a little to the left of what you would imagine an old time union leader might be, at least in terms of this era. So I don't think what she's saying here is like, you're not engaging enough Republicans. No. I don't get the sense that's what she's talking about. I think this is her saying, we need some churn in Democratic circles. I think she was pro David Hogg. Then again, his appeals were not particularly ideological as much as they were about new generation and willing to fight. And so I find this a little disturbing.
We played a clip of a Pete Buttigieg when Taylor Lorenz was on the program talking about how he's telling the Bulwark, I think it was, the big problem that they did was they should have found a way to open the schools faster. And I agree. I think that should have been more things like, fitting schools out to make them safe and shutting down other parts of society like gyms and stuff like that to make sure schools are prioritized. I think he meant we should have forced the unions to have opened up.
100%. Right? Like that's part of that abundance. I mean, the abundance agenda can be whatever it is, whatever anybody wants it to be on any given day. But the people who are donating hundreds of tens and maybe hundreds of millions of dollars to it, they're the ones who are like, let's disempower unions. And to be clear, those teachers unions are saying, we want to get back into class, but we want to do so safely. But that would have involved like tens of millions of dollars worth of like air purifiers. I mean, I can tell you in this office, I had a CO meter and I was able to replicate the level of CO in this office to what it was outside. I can't remember what the number was, 5.0 or whatever. I had 3 or 4 filters in here. I had the filters in between all of us so that there was no air that could pass. I mean, it was extreme.
Shower curtains hanging down from the...
I had shower curtains hanging down in between Emma and I when she finally came in. It's doable. It's hard. It's expensive. It's a little bit annoying. But certainly, this could have been done in classrooms. Would it have completely eliminated transmission? Unlikely. But would it have reduced it significantly? Would you, instead of having 20 people catch it in a room, maybe one person would catch it from somebody else in a room? Could you have separated teachers enough from the kids? I think you could have. But there just wasn't a will to do that. Nobody wanted to expend the resources that was necessary to do this. So, and AFSCME, which is the biggest government, largest union, government worker union, I believe, in the country. Also, the leader of that quit. I've got it right here. Hold on for a second. I don't know what's going on with Ken Martin.
That's crazy. I mean, maybe he should get out of there.
Lee Saunders, president of the American Federation State, County, and Municipal Employees, also told Martin they would decline. Maybe we need to have a conversation with them and find out.
Yeah, that seems not like a great sign.
No. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.